Very cool.
Oh, so we're live. Thank you very much
Awesome.
to all my viewers. I am tonight with a solo artist, a guy that does demos for Boss, and also the lead guitar player from the band New Year's Day,
Yeah,
Austin
absolutely.
Ingerman. That's cool. Thank you very much to be on my show tonight. This is
Absolutely.
incredible. I'm honored to have you. So, my guest
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
my
thank you
show,
for having me,
and
man. It's been what, 2 or 3 months now since
yeah,
NAM, right?
and because of the pandemic and all that crazy weird times we live in, it feels like it's so far away, but it was a few 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy times for sure.
uh,
Who would have thought? That's why it's like you can't look too far in the future, because who would have thought that, you know, a month ago, if you would have thought, oh, there's going to be a worldwide pandemic going
mhm.
on in just a few weeks. It's just everything is so unpredictable. So you just gotta take it one day at a time, I guess.
This
So
is the way, yeah. And are you? This is us at Nam.
yeah, I know
So
it seems so long ago now, but then it was only let's see, late January, so I
yeah,
guess it was a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit ago, but yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
And are you right now? You're LT. You're safe. Everything's going well. You're home.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm down with my family down in Florida. I'm in
Oh, nice.
yeah, I'm in Pensacola, Florida, which is right there on the Panhandle, and yeah, pretty much like right after NAM, we only had a couple weeks off, and we did a tour of Europe, a headliner tour with New Year's Day, and it was amazing. We had
And
another one of our
speaking
friends'
of New
band.
Year's Day, here's your band.
Yeah, yeah, there we are. Look at those sprite looking fellas. But no, we were out there in Europe, and that was kind of before the coronavirus got too bad, as I was telling you a minute ago, and um,
and this,
our
I like that picture. It's funny.
yeah, that was from our music video that we did for the song "Come for Me," and it was crazy because it took me about an hour. We had a makeup artist and everything, and
Mhm.
it took over an hour to get all that airbrushed and all the
Oh yeah,
makeup
yeah.
done and everything. And I don't even think I think it's probably like a half-second shot or something in the video, but that's the way it goes. That's
Yeah,
music videos. So,
yeah. Good.
but it was a
Uh,
super fun time though. It was
so,
awesome.
great for you. And it's going well with that band right now. You're having fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're already starting to think about the next record, but mostly right now we're just visiting family and trying to stay as busy as we can and stay safe and do stuff like this. Do the lives and
Ah, thank you
try to play
very
a
much
lot. So
again. And let's jump right now into the goal of that live show is to talk about you, but not about the artist, but the guitar player. And then my first question, in your email when we started communicating about the show, you wrote that you started at 7. So what drives a 7 years old kid to start playing guitar?
um, well, it's funny because I think back then it was just my dad having like a concert or something on
Mm-hmm.
TV. And I want to say it was like a Stevie Ray Vaughan concert or something like that. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly who it was, but I just remember him saying to me, wouldn't this be cool? Don't you want to do something like that? Or I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but he was just kind of trying to. He had already bought me a little acoustic guitar that kind of just sat around the house in case I just happened to pick it up,
Mm-hmm.
and because he plays bass, so I think he
Okay.
kind of just wanted me to just have a guitar around, just in case, and he showed me that concert, and I was just super into the idea of I was just like, yeah, I want to do that.
Wow.
So he got me lessons just a few weeks after that,
Okay.
and they were kind of like the traditional lessons where they have you learn out of a book, and it's the whole
Yeah.
the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star
Yeah,
and stuff
exactly.
like that. But the positives from all that was that it did teach me to read music at an early age, which that's one of those things where you learn it, you relearn it, you forget it, and you forget it again, and you got to relearn it, and it's just
Yeah.
kind of I wouldn't really be able to read much music now, but even though I did just graduate from MI like a year and a half ago or something,
Yeah.
but anyways,
I, I,
so But yeah,
A little anecdote about MI. When I saw this in your reply, I was like, when I was starting to learn to play the guitar, it was still called GIT back then,
yeah,
and and I was a subscriber. We didn't have the internet back then, so I was still a subscriber of guitar for the practicing musicians or guitar player, and there were tons of ads about this, and you don't know how much I was dreaming going
yeah,
there back then. I was like 18, 19. We were in the late 80s, and I remember mailing the little form to get all the information about going
yeah,
there. But from someone, I'm from Canada, for someone like me, it was super expensive, and my parents could not afford this. So,
yeah. Oh, it's
it's a
ridiculous.
dream that never happened. But it's interesting to hear about it. So keep going. So you said, I would say, early influences, Stevie Ray Vaughan, if I am not wrong. This is
Absolutely. He was a big one, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I liked a lot of Boston, and I still do. So Tom
okay.
Schultz was another
Mm-hmm.
big one.
Yeah.
Slash is probably like the biggest or one of the biggest. And then later on, guys like Sinister Gates from, Avenged
Okay.
Sevenfold. But you know what? I like tons of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever is just cool. And there's so much cool stuff out there. Just whatever is bend your ear or make, it's like, wow, that was cool. It's just there's so many awesome guys these days. You got
Yeah,
uh,
and they're so versatile. Is it me? You hear guys on YouTube these days, and they can play metal, they can play close to country, they have jazz chops. They can.
yeah,
Back in the 80s, maybe the guys were able. I don't know, but they were more focused on one style, I would say. But these days,
yeah.
these guys can play everything. So, what your first guitar?
It was probably that one. I think it was that one I was telling you about
Okay,
that my dad kind of got me before I even started to play. It was like
okay,
a little beginner's acoustic, like a short scale. It
okay,
wasn't even like a full scale guitar or
okay,
anything like that. But I think my first electric was a Mexican Strat,
okay. Not
and I
bad.
had that one for a long time. But then I kind of I wanted to get a little heavier, and it just wasn't giving me the sound. I was playing it through a little Fender amp, and it just wasn't giving me the sound that I
Yeah.
wanted. So um, I got this guitar when I was 16. It's a '94 Les Paul Standard, and
Wow.
it's been through
A
it's
lot.
got its wear on it.
And is it's worn out because you played it? It's not because you bought it like this.
No, no, yeah, it's just because I played it a lot.
Cool.
I I played I started playing in cover bands when I was 17, so just
Hmm.
tons of smoky bars and being out by the beach and stuff like that. Just I definitely I broke it in good. So
Cool, cool. And so if Stevie Ray slash, are they still influencing you today, or you, since you graduated,
oh,
you
for
got out
sure.
of school, you have new influence, or anyone right now that makes you
Um, that's a
no
good question. But definitely, the guys that influenced me from an early age still definitely have an
still
influence
okay?
on me. But
Cool.
just like any other guitar player, I go through phases where, I'm playing a little bit more of this or more of that, and then like right now, there's a guy Rick Graham who's really big on YouTube,
Okay.
and he just does this crazy kind of like fusiony, almost like
Okay.
Satriani mixed with uh, like Paul Gilbert kind of
Okay.
just like rock fusion shred kind of stuff, and it's
Yeah.
just absolutely mind blowing. So listen to him right now, and
I'm
of
taking
course,
notes. Rick Graham. I
yeah,
don't
Rick
know.
Graham, yeah, he's sick. You got to check him out. And then there's a guy Mateus Sasato. I think he's
Yeah,
playing with
I know this
yeah,
guy. Yeah.
yeah, and he went to MI too. Absolutely phenomenal player. But yeah, just like you said, there's tons of guys right now, and it's just it's one of those things where you just try to take information a little bit from
Hmm.
each player that inspires you, or you see a cool lick out there on Instagram, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, let me try to learn
You
that,
try that.
that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
This is
Yeah,
what I'm doing right now, and I
totally.
realize I still have a lot to learn.
Oh, and we all do, but that's the beauty of guitar. You know what I mean? It's an endless journey, and that's the whole reason why I play. It's just you can never reach the finish line. That's the fun of it.
Yeah, and as you started quite young, any moment you stop or you took a break, or you always kept playing?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, around the time I was in fifth grade, I think I stopped playing for about a year or something
Oh,
like that. But I was,
okay.
I was just like any other kid. I was growing up and trying different things.
Mm-hmm.
I was in sports and playing baseball and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
when I was playing at a really early age, it was mostly just learning songs, like learning a Hendrix song, learning Stevie Ray song,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot of just. It wasn't any crazy technical practice back then or anything like
Okay.
that. It wasn't until I was around 17 and started playing out and getting paid to play and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, maybe I should start taking this a little bit more seriously.
And,
So
and how do you brought this up? Did you took lessons, or did you have like a mentor, or you bought a book, or you did it by
um,
yourself?
yeah, it's a good question. I actually just like I think it was the Bark at the Moon solo
Okay.
by Ozzy. And I just there was just the crazy alternate picking at the end. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
I wanted to play, faster stuff, and I just couldn't at all back then. So I just started just one string, just the simple, just one string, and trying to get
Yeah.
it as fast as I could. And then I there was a bunch of Paul Gilbert like alternate picking exercises on YouTube and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and um, those helped me out a ton. But it was pretty much just that, just taking it baby steps and just trying to put in the work,
Yeah,
the
it's
technique and
an
stuff. So
interesting story because I'm not I'm not of your level of playing, but recently uh, I jumped back into more practicing, and
yeah.
I took on my side I took the Come On Feel the Noise solo from Quiet Riot.
Oh, that's a
Uh,
great one. Yeah, for
and
sure.
I always loved that solo, and I decided I will learn it, and
Yeah.
I'm not very good at learning solos, but I took it as an example and said, okay, I'm going to work it out, practice my alternate picking with it,
Yeah.
and it's
And
fun.
the
It's
cool
a
thing, yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing about learning songs is even if you kind of screw up a little bit and you learn it, a little bit different than how it was recorded, it helps you develop your own style, and you kind of the happy accidents kind of cause you to create your own licks and stuff like that too.
it's
So
fun. So you're in a band. You have done a solo project, I think, because you're on Spotify. I put all the links in the video comments. I was about to ask what keeps you practicing, but all of this is your go-to every day. I bet. Do you have a practice routine that you do every day, or you just review your songs? How do you proceed your daily routine on this?
it's pretty much just trying to keep my chops up sometimes, just doing technical exercises and stuff. Then other times it'll just be playing to backing tracks. There's
Okay.
no set routine per se.
Okay.
If I have a song that I need to learn, sometimes it's just that.
Okay.
When I'm on tour, I usually try to warm up for at least half an hour to an hour before the show, and that's
Yeah.
kind of my practice when I'm on the road.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I don't have like a set routine or anything like that. It just maybe I'm not organized enough for that or whatever. But
Yeah, I think it's
um,
the problem of many guitar players. We like to noodle more than
yeah,
practice. It's so
totally.
fun. I remember when I was younger, I was not playing guitar, but I learned the piano, and my teacher had a bunch of stuff, and there was routines that I should practice every day and everything. But when I started playing guitar, it's so much fun making noise, or playing some basic riffs and.
Yeah. You know what though, and that's what it's all about. The more
Yeah.
fun that you have with it, that's why we're all playing in the first place. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah. And
you never want to lose that part.
do you have right now a favorite piece of gear? Is it the your Les Paul in your hand, or you have something else?
For sure. This is my go-to guitar, but then as far as amps and stuff go, I have an old Marshall JCM 800
Oh,
that's
nice!
it's got the Muller tubes in it, which came in the original Marshalls back then.
Wow,
And
wow.
it just sounds absolutely incredible. Especially, I mean, you can only turn it up to like 2 or 3 before it'll blow your head off. So I
Yeah,
love that. I love that, but I can't take it everywhere I go because it's just too loud. So,
yeah, it's too loud.
um, I recently got a Fractal AX8, and that's what I use actually on the road with New Year's
Okay,
Day, because it's just the pedal board version. It's small, it's compact, and when we're flying to Europe and Australia, it's just easy. And all of my all of my sound, my setup is there. There's no, I don't have to worry about tubes breaking or anything like that, or patch cables. It's just, it's a very streamlined kind of setup. So,
So
um,
most of your gigs, or I would say all your gigs, are done direct right now. You don't have any other gear than the Fractal.
yeah, exactly. It's all direct, and a lot of guys are doing that nowadays. And I still miss having that 412 cab behind me, just blasting, and feeling
The
the
field, yeah, yeah, I know.
feeling just the rumble and just the kick that it has. But we all use in-ears and everything, so I just get my guitar blasted in my ears, and it works. And like I said, it's just so much easier when you gotta load in, load out in 5 minutes, or you gotta fly all the way across the world. It's just
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
lot easier. So
And I saw on many of your pictures you're using a Schecter.
yeah, all the songs for New Year's Day are actually tuned to drop A, so we do
Okay,
the whole 7-string kind of setup.
okay,
um you pretty much play it the same way as you'd play a drop D guitar. All
okay.
your power chords are the one finger kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So but it's a good tuning though, and that's they started writing that way, I think 2 or 3 albums ago.
Okay.
They started kind of doing the drop A thing. So
It sounded
um
great. I listened a couple of times. I'm working from home because of we're all locked at
yeah,
home right now. And while I work, I was listening to your band, and I was impressed. I listened a couple. Your latest album. I took your latest album. I don't remember the title, but
yeah,
I did
Unbreakable,
a
yeah.
quick. And it sounded great. Your singer has a great voice. Yeah, and it's a describe that music to me. It's a mix of modern metal and kind of it's hard to describe. It's very syncopated sometimes with the way
Right.
the production is done and everything.
Yeah, no, it's very there's some influences like Pantera, and it's we always say it's kind of like if Pantera and Justin Timberlake or Kalani or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like if they had a baby. It's just kind of mashing like pop with metal and stuff. And that's
Exactly.
that's kind of the idea, is heavy riffs with the soaring vocals over top, and melodic, fun songs that because our singer, a lot of times she would say like, I love the riffs that Pantera has, but what if we made the vocals more poppy or more catchy? And that's kind of the goal and the idea.
Great, great. Sounds
So,
great. Sounds great. As any guitar player, do you have any piece of gear you're lusting for, or when
oh
you
yeah,
look
yeah,
you go to Guitar Center or whatever? Is there something you say, oh, I'd love to have that
oh
piece of
yeah, for
gear?
sure. It's always a never ending journey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, honestly, I need to hit up the guys with Boss, and I need to get one of the Mark II katanas, because I just really enjoyed playing that at NAMM, and I love the new features on it. I've actually been playing my katana artist for all the gigs that I had
Oh,
before the coronavirus thing, all
good,
happened.
good, good.
Because I play, I'll do gigs around town, and cover gigs and stuff here and there just to make money, and I use that katana artist, and it sounds amazing, and same kind of thing. All your effects are already built in, and I don't have to lug around another pedal board, and so yeah, that's
Okay, I will call Yoshi-san after
yeah,
our
yeah, for
after
sure.
your interview. Speaking of Bus, how did you end up doing demos for them? This
Yeah,
is
that's
cool.
a good question actually.
Yeah.
It was around the time, it was at the time I was going to MI,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to MI in Hollywood from I think it was like 2016, and then I graduated at the end of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty early on at my time at MI, I got an email. There was something that just came up through whatever their they had these services to help students or whatever, where auditions would come
Yeah.
up or certain gigs would come up and stuff like that. And it was just an email type thing that was like, Roland Boss looking for artists for music video, or something basic like that. And I just sent in my stuff, and then Jeff Slingluff actually is the one that emailed me back, and he was like, yeah, we'd love to use you for the video. And so I drove down to downtown LA, and it was like in this just crazy just warehouse looking type building where you're like underground and everything. And that was the one. It's on YouTube right now. It was the one. I had super long hair actually back then, but it was the debut video for the katana amps.
I think I remember this one. Yep. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was you in this one. Cool.
Yeah. 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 It was me. I had the long hair and everything, and I was playing like a white left-handed ESP. But they were super. Because it was a really big thing, and they had not even released the katana at that point. So I remember Jeff saying like, "Yeah, don't say anything about this or whatever, and it's going to be this new big thing. Boss is doing amps now." And so it was definitely an honor and a super cool thing that I got to be a part of that.
Good. This is a great story. Cool for sharing it. Why Schecter? I'm coming back to your 7-string guitar. Any reason
Yeah.
why you picked up Schecter, or
Well,
is it that, are you endorsed? Can you say it? Or I don't know any reason
yeah,
why.
no. So the band New Year's Day has actually been sponsored by Schecter for quite a while
Oh
now, and
wow.
Nikki, our other guitar player, has kind of had that hookup for a while. And I can't say enough great things about Scum and all the guys at Schecter, and they definitely help us out a ton. And the guitars play great too, and they're bulletproof, and the action's super low, and they're easy to play. And
Super.
but yeah, they've been supporting the band for a while. But yeah,
Awesome.
they're great company.
Awesome. Do you have any gear regrets? Something you got stolen or something you sold at one point and you say, "Oh, I should have kept that piece of gear," or anything,
Ah,
or no?
hmm. That's a really good question, because I was actually getting ready to maybe sell some stuff, and I hope I don't have some regrets after I do that. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But I do think that with the fractals and the katanas and things like that, the modeling becoming better and better and more popular, I do think that I'll never get rid of like my JCM 800 and some of my amps like that, but it's kind of one of those things like, do I really need 5 different amps now? Some of them are just like sitting there. So I do think that,
Look at my back right now. Yeah,
yeah,
this is not a
yeah, I don't know.
fit.
Maybe they'll just be good furniture or something, just put
Yeah,
some drinks on
well,
them.
all of the crap behind me is because at one point I did some stupid trades or got screwed up in selling something, and I said, oh, now I keep most of my, well, I try to keep most of whatever I buy, or when I buy something I try to say, okay, if I buy this I don't want to sell it back in 6 months, or
Yeah.
yeah, so that's something. So you are on tour. You have a
Yeah.
choice in between a good guitar or a good amp. What do you pick?
Oh man, I would have to say good guitar,
Yeah,
because that's what you're physically playing. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I think that the better you play on the guitar, the better the amp is going to sound. So if I had to choose one, probably good guitar for sure.
So I see you with a Les Paul. You have two choices. You can only have a Les Paul or a Strat. What do you pick up?
It has to be a Les Paul for sure.
Any reason?
I
Any reason
Yeah, no,
why?
I love I love Strats and everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, like Les Pauls, I just kind of naturally gravitate to. I don't know if it's just um, I have slightly smaller hands, and I think the neck just feels better on a Les Paul. It's not so wide. It's easier to bend to me. It has a fatter tone. I don't know what it is, but these are all just personal
Yeah,
preferences.
and
You know,
I agree with you, and it's so funny because I got my first Les Paul. I've been playing for over 30 years, and I got my first Les Paul last year,
yeah,
and I was always looking for that Les Paul, and each time I was picking one, I was like, oh, I don't like it, I don't like it, and I finally bought their cheapest model back in 2018, the tribute one.
yeah,
It's no. Um, it's not a shiny model, there's no paint in the back, the neck is almost
right, right.
raw, and it plays super great. It became my favorite guitar. I'm kind of, and I always played super strats before, and I'm a Les Paul guy. I didn't know about, I like like you said, the way it's sustained, the fat tone,
Yeah.
and when you plug it in the Marshall or the,
Oh yeah,
uh,
you can't beat it. That's
yeah,
the
it's,
Yeah, for
and
sure. No, well, it's kind of confusing with Les Pauls though, because they had so many different models, and there were certain years where the wood maybe wasn't quite as good, and or this or that, but mine is actually a 94. I have two. There's actually a case behind me. That's my other Les Paul, and that's a 91 custom. So two of my guitars are from the early 90s, and they play absolutely phenomenal. But then I just recently got a 2019 Les Paul in Bourbon Burst. That was the one I was playing at NAMM, actually.
Right, it was super nice, yeah.
Yeah, and it's modeled after the '60s Les Pauls, which is kind of what neck this has. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
definitely it's similar to this guitar. So I really like that a lot, and I'm glad that they kind of went back to the no weight
That
relief.
guitar here.
Yeah, yep.
That's
And they went back to the no weight relief thing to where it's a little bit heavier, which I like, honestly.
mine is a one piece Les Paul. There's no
Yeah.
it's a one piece of wood. There's no weight relief, and it's a nice one you have there. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's just something about I just think the weight relief just does something to it. There's probably a lot of people out there that's like, oh no, I like it better, but
Here's mine.
oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, but that's the cheapest one they make.
Yeah, but that's awesome though. I actually I had a gold top before the burst Les Paul that you saw in that last picture, but I actually traded it to get the burst one.
Wood.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And when I picked it up, I said, "Oh, it's coming back with me." So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I had originally had a gold top before the burst guitar, but they put the nut on upside down. So they put the nut on as if it was a right-handed guitar.
Oh yeah.
So my top string was like buzzing super bad on it. So I ended up trading it to get the burst guitar, and it's playing great.
It's awesome. So. I know you're a lefty. I was not playing yours when I was replacing you at one point at now.
Yeah. You were like, hey, it's upside down. It's all backwards.
It's upside down. Hey, what you're plugged right now? I think. In what are you plugged in right now?
Yeah, I'm plugged in. This is my little. I don't know if you can see it. It's my little Katana Mini.
Go ahead, shred us something. Play us something. Just
for sure. Can you hear that at all?
Yeah, you hear it.
Let me set this down for a second. Okay, here we go. Yeah, sorry, my headphones are in my way.
That's cool.
Hopefully you can hear that.
Yeah, we have one of our viewers right now that said he had a 67 gold top and he's missing it. Well, I hear you. Sometimes we have a piece of gear, and this is why we were talking about.
Yep. Wow, that's crazy. Was it an actual 67 or a reissue? Because man, that'd be quite a guitar to have, a real 67.
Come on. We'll wait. Maybe you'll reply to us. Okay, but
for sure.
What's the best but cheapest 8-string to go for? Oh boy, good question. A Schecter?
Yeah. Schecter makes great ones for pretty cheap, honestly. You might be able to find a super cheap like a LTD, but yeah, Schecter's probably the way to go for that. I would say either ESP or I guess it'd be LTD, Ibanez or Schecter.
Yeah. The three big names in the and it had that weight thing that you were talking about, and it was real. Okay, so you sold the real thing.
Yeah, wow. That'll hurt right there. That's pretty awesome though.
I was listening to you play the Mini Katana. Are you a clean guy or a distortion guy?
Oh, definitely more distortion. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It's just the A power chord whenever you crank it up.
Nothing like an open G.
Yeah. What's that?
It says it got stolen. That's sad. So I understand.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. And I was looking at, and I really like your Les Paul by the fact you played it so much that it's relic, you know. So I
Yeah.
had that question. What do you prefer when you pick up a guitar? That is all shiny, or you prefer a relic look?
Well, when I first pick it up, I prefer it to be shiny. I want to
Yeah,
make sure that I'm the one doing all the wear and tear on it. That way I can look back and say, "Yep, I abused this guitar myself," you know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly, exactly. Oh boy. In all your tours, you or the shows you have done, like the Nam or such, maybe you had the chance, maybe at MI, probably you have
Yeah.
maybe the chance to meet one of your heroes or someone that influenced you at one point. So any moment, or I would say starstruck moment, you met someone that had like an influence on
Mm.
you, or an
Yeah, we
any anecdote, you know, maybe you've met someone during a tour. I don't know. Go ahead, talk
yeah, for
yourself
sure. No,
out.
we opened for Zach Wild at the NAMM Schecter party at the Grove in Anaheim. And so that was super cool getting to meet him. And of course, he's just a legendary, just rock star guitar player. So yeah, it was super cool getting to meet him. And then uh, the guys from Hailstorm are awesome too. And Lizzie Hale is just
Yeah,
phenomenal singer, and it's cool to see those guys night in and night out just kill it. Super cool crew band. Everybody in that band is just awesome. And I had
cool.
actually listened to a bunch of Hailstorm before getting with New Year's Day, um, so I was already very familiar with their music, and the fact that we just get to tour with them all the time now is super cool,
Yeah,
and we're definitely
I
grateful.
really like that band, and I love what they have done. They have done a bunch of covers, and it's
Yeah,
pretty cool. They play it their own way and this. Yeah, you're right about this. The singer, she has an incredible voice,
yeah,
and yeah, it's pretty
yeah. Did
cool.
you hear the Still the Night one, the White Snake one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
was one of the first one I listened to when I found about all those covers they had done. So yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's awesome
yes.
for sure.
Um, you can go back in time and meet yourself. And you have any advice you would like to give Austin, a younger Austin, about his guitar playing, or
Probably don't take that 1 year off in fifth grade and just keep practicing and playing. Um, it's hard to say because everything about the past made the future or made the present the way it is
yeah?
now. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's hard to say. I don't really have any regrets, and things are the way they are. And I would just say, yeah, just practice and be cool to people, and things will fall into place. Get yourself out there, and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
yeah. Sounds
yeah.
cliche, but
No, I'm with you on this. And the stay cool, be yourself. Don't treat others like you would like to be treated. And this is all stuff very important for me. So, one table, two chairs. Your favorite drinks. Any artist, guitar player, or whoever you'd like to have with you, dead or alive, just to have a good chat, and just like we're doing tonight.
yeah. Let me think. Dead, I would have to say Jimi Hendrix, and then alive, probably it's a toss up between like Slash and Sinister Gates for me,
Really?
because I'm super influenced by Guns N' Roses and Avenged Sevenfold. Those are two super big bands for me, and it would just be awesome to just sit there and get to pick their brain for a little while.
Yeah,
So
sometimes
yeah, but I could go on and on. That's how that's a hard one for sure.
well, you just said you met Zach Wild. I really like he used to do with Ozzy, and on the Black Label Society. He has done some good stuff. Yeah, when he did a few songs with Derek Sherinian also, and these were kind of very interesting stuff that he did. And that's a guy I'd like to have a good chat with him. And he seems to like gear also. So that I don't know if you had the chance to talk with him when
Yeah,
you met
not a whole
him.
lot. It was mostly just kind of a handshake, like, oh, how you doing, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, it would definitely be super cool to actually like get to jam with them or hang out for a while.
Cool, cool.
But
Where do you see yourself in 10 years, as a musician?
Well, hopefully not in another worldwide pandemic. That's
Well,
for sure.
I'm
But
taking notes. I'll book you in 10 years if it happens again.
all right, sounds good. Um, no, I would say to have people be inspired by in some way by the music that I created. I think that's the ultimate goal as a songwriter, is to make a positive impact, in people's life, and have your songs mean something to them. So I'd say in 10 years, if I could have one song that does that, then I can die happy at that point.
Oh, you
So,
already have a couple of good ones. Are you? Is the band all working together when they're creating new songs in the New Year's
well,
Day? Or
most of the last record was done for the most part before I was in the group.
okay, okay,
I kind of came in on the very, very tail end of, well, pretty much right before Unbreakable was released.
okay.
But I am involved in the writing process on the next album, and I do feel that one's going to be a way more collaborative process. We're already jamming riffs and doing demos. I have Logic on my laptop, and I'm always writing stuff. That's pretty much all I've been doing during the quarantine, is just writing every day.
Oh, that's
So
fun. Yeah. Well, and that's a question I didn't have, but I want to ask to, because you're doing this as your job. So how do you work, guys, together? You record a bunch of riffs, you share them with your group members, and then there's a creative process that goes on, or how does it work? I'm
yeah,
just
pretty
curious.
much. Like sometimes when we're on the road, we kind of
Yeah.
just jam stuff
Okay.
backstage, um, or just, yeah, hey, check this riff out real quick, and then it's pretty simple like that. But a lot of the times I'll get on Logic and jam something, and um, I'll usually just bounce it down, send them the demo, and then they'll just get back to me. They'll either put their parts on it, or they'll, yeah, change this part. I like the bridge, but can we change the chorus, and that kind of thing.
Ah,
So
this is cool, and it's quite easy today. You can just put online all your files with, and then they can reopen it.
yeah,
I've been seeing my son here is in a small band, and they're all doing, because of the pandemic, they're all working from distance right now, and they're sharing videos and tracks and everything, and he's putting
yeah.
everything together here at home on Reaper. So yeah, it's kind of
Well, that's the beauty of technology, is ever since this whole thing happened, I've just been taking it as an opportunity to just write a bunch of music, and it's going to allow me to, release my debut instrumental solo album
oh
as soon
nice.
as we can record drums, because I'm a real big believer in live drums. I have a really good drummer, my buddy James. He absolutely is. He just kills it. So we're not going to do the program thing. We're going to try to do it live, but we got to wait till we can actually travel and record again. So yeah,
Nice.
hopefully that's not too long, but
And it's interesting because we're speaking of easy collaboration right now. So, how do you see what do you see as the next big thing in the next 10 years? Like maybe in gear or uh, music sharing. I don't know. You're in the
yeah.
business, so I'm just curious. What's your thoughts about what's the next big thing coming? I would say
Ah,
that the
yeah,
last 10 years were those of modeling. Where modeling has
for
just
sure,
and
definitely. Yeah, I mean,
uh,
when I first moved to actually the area that I'm in now, and it was about 10 years ago, and I had just got my Marshall amp that I was talking about
mhm.
earlier. Um, and that was still a big thing, just crank up amps and stuff like that, because there wasn't really the fractals, they weren't really out yet, and that wasn't really that big of a thing. But as you said, just like even the last couple of years, it's gotten so good. Now there's like the STL tonality, plugins and stuff like that, and it's just phenomenal how good the technology is getting. So like the next 10 years, I mean, I don't know. I still want to see amps around. I
Mhm.
don't want to see that go away, but I do think it's going to be a pretty big modeling world from here on out. It's just the way it is. It's just it's the practicality. It's like, why am I going to lug around all this stuff when, I mean, you can barely tell a difference, if any at all. You know what I mean? So it's probably going to be the way it is.
Have you tried, because we were again talking about your JCM, sorry.
Yeah.
Um, Have you tried the Boss tube expander?
No, I have tried it at NAM, but I want to actually get one because I think that it'll be amazing. It'll be
It's
perfect for my Marshall amp
it's
because that
amazing.
thing's so loud, and also I can, I hear that you can actually add an effects loop to old
Yeah,
amps with it and everything
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So I definitely want to try to use that, and then just being able to record, use your IRs with it and everything like that. So yeah, I definitely need to get one of those.
Yeah, the few minutes I tried it at NAM, I was like, oh my, this is incredible. And with all the amps I have in my back, I'm like, having this at home, you can load the impulse responses in it, and that will be awesome. And
Yeah.
we go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I think you can like add reverb and stuff to your amp as well. So it's perfect for those like, the dinosaur old school amps where they don't have any of those features. And if you want to, add stuff to them, I don't even know what all that thing can do, but I know it's got tons of features and stuff on it. So yeah,
Yeah, the price is breaking me right now, but it's in my gotta have list, you know.
yeah,
Someone is asking, did you try the neural stuff? In my case, no, I cannot comment. Have you
yeah. No,
tried
I,
it?
I, I haven't tried that yet. Is that the plugin? Like, is that Neural DSP? Is it that one? I don't know. I haven't really.
I think this is neural DSP. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Okay. I've seen a lot of ads for it, and it sounds good from what I hear, but I haven't tried it yet. Pretty much I've tried the what is it, the Joey Sturgis Tone Forge.
mm-hmm.
I've tried those, and then I've tried the STL Howard Benson tonality plugins.
Must be this one here.
Okay,
He's talking about.
yeah.
But
I definitely have seen those. I haven't tried them yet, but I've heard they're really good. I might have to get those. I have a really good producer friend who actually he does all like the White Snake stuff, KXM.
mm-hmm.
He worked with Pat Travers at one point, Lynch Mob, just tons of awesome musicians and stuff. And he absolutely kills it from an engineering producing standpoint. So I kind of just let him do his thing with that. But for me at home, I like to be able to have good demos that I can at least because I pretty much go into the studio with full songs. Everything's demoed out. I like to have plugins that are just good enough that I can comfortably listen to the song without getting annoyed, because it sounds like
Understood.
shit or something. But yeah,
So you were saying you use Logic at home and with your computer?
yeah. It's just Logic and the Focusrite 2i2. Just super easy. That way I can take it with me on the road and stuff like that, and I don't get too caught up in new sounds or different things like that. I just try to have whatever basic plugins that, like I said, sound good. I do have a couple, like I said, the STL, but I just use the stock Logic drums in there when
Okay.
I'm doing my demos and stuff, because like I said, I already know an amazing drummer and I know an amazing producer, so I kind of just let them. I already know that the sound's going to be way better after they get their hands on it too. So I like to just have my demos to just be demos. You know what I mean?
Understood, but all the basics are there.
Absolutely. Yep.
You do the bass also. Yeah.
No, my producer Chris actually has been playing the bass. It was funny. I rented a bass when I was doing my instrumental EP when we were tracking.
Yeah.
I rented a left-handed bass from Guitar Center, or I think it was Sam Ash maybe.
Yeah.
And I walk in the studio, and I was planning to play bass, but then I just show up at the studio the next day, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'll put the bass on it," and it was killer. So I was just like, "Yeah, good, awesome. Now I don't have to play it." So it was perfect.
I cheat a lot on my side when I do I have a bass here and I don't use it. Sometimes when I do some quick demos for the group, my Facebook group, I'll just record a clean guitar and use the software and drop it an octave, and
Yeah,
then
there you go. That'll work.
I have the collection from line 6 from my old this is old stuff, but I still have it and it still sounds great. I used to have a friend over there, but he's still working for them, and he got me the old collection of amps for pod farm. I don't know if you know the old pod farm collection. They had a bunch of
Yeah.
amps you could use with their interface, and I still have all those. And once in a while, it's easy. You take your guitar, you play the bass line, drop it an octave, and Here we go.
Yeah, and
We
that's
have
the
a bit.
biggest thing for me when I'm doing demos. I just don't want to lose inspiration. So um, for me, when I'm doing stuff in Logic, it's always from a creative standpoint. So I'm not too caught up in different sounds. I'm just trying to like get the ideas down as quickly as I can. Sometimes, I'll use my phone and just get the voice memos down, just if I have an idea, because you never know when the inspiration strikes. But
Yeah.
it's definitely fun to mess with stuff and try to get things to sound as good as you can.
We live in very
You know,
great times for a musician. Whatever even drummers. What a drummer is more complicated, because the gear is quite huge.
exactly.
But
Yep.
keyboard players, guitar players, bass players, we have access to a bunch of stuff to record easily our instrument, and we live in great times.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of technology, is because even during the quarantine, I can pretty much do all my guitars from here and send my engineer. He's out in Vegas. I can just send him the files and he'll just mix it right in. Just send him the DI signal and he puts his plugins and stuff over it and it's ready to go. Just like you said, though, the drums are the only thing where you have to travel and stuff or
Yeah,
not necessarily travel, but actually go to the studio and
and the
unless you
thing,
want to program them. But
I have a small one. Well, it's not mine. It's my. You met my son, but we have a small drum kit here in the music room.
oh, see, that's awesome. See, you're already set up. You don't have to go anywhere.
No, but it takes place. We have a very small room with all the that gear. So yeah.
That's
But,
killer, man. You got it all right there.
yeah, I even have the drummer, but we don't. It's sad we don't play much together because of time and schedule and such.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we tried. That was awesome. Wanna jam us a little thing before we end the show?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I'm gonna set these headphones down because they're in my
No
way down here. So
problem.
let me know if the sound's good though. All right, cool. Let's see.
Awesome.
All right, cool. I'm back now.
That was awesome. Thank you very much. That was a great interview. You're a great guest. I'm.
Thank you so much for
Honestly,
having me, man. It was an honor. It's great to see you again.
yeah,
And
and if ever you come to Canada, to the province of Quebec here, you know how to reach me. Let me know. We'll try to meet again. If you come to Montreal, poutine is on me. I don't know if you ever eaten poutine. Do you know what it is?
yeah, for sure. We were in Canada, ironically, on 4th of July last year.
Really?
So yeah, I'll have to. I think it was before I met you, but yeah, we'll have to definitely let you know next time, and we'll hang up, and
And
maybe you can show us around.
my actual real work will maybe make me a little bit travel and once all the pandemic is done. So I'll keep you posted, and maybe we'll be able to reach out at one point. This is great.
For sure.
Thank you very
Awesome,
much
man.
again. Very
Yeah, thank you
appreciated.
so much for having me. Hope to
And
see you again soon, man.
cheers everyone, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys.